All right, folks. Welcome to Stars Without Numbers Revised Shipbreakers, episode -1. We are Kainless today, so we're going to do 2 prequel episodes. Let me preface this. Content warning. This is going to be an extremely dark episode. Maybe Dunamis's will be less dark by several degrees, but here are some of the topics you might be listening to tonight. Suicide, addiction, gambling, alcoholism, gore, extreme violence. All right? If none of those suit you, skip this episode. You have been warned. Players, again, I wrote some horror elements here because Kain said he wanted a horror part, but he isn't here. So if anything is too... I know we're laughing. If anything is too extreme here, just let me know. We'll exit. We'll red card it. We'll step back. If I think we can continue the storyline without that particular scene, I feel like there's no real ability to exit. Let me just preface that. If you exit the scene, it's probably the end of your episode tonight. But maybe that will be for the better, and I'll probably continue it. Like I'll edit in me just telling people what happens because I wrote these stories as a loose outline to explain what everyone's background was. So I feel like it's important information because future events will be predicated on what happens here tonight. The second thing is, obviously, your characters are alive in the present, which means they cannot have died in the past. So we're in Metal Gear Solid 3 category, right? Like, please don't run over an open field at the police with a weapon screaming out loud that you're going to kill somebody. You know what I mean? Like, don't intentionally throw yourself into knowing lethal harm. Probably, Dunamis, this is going to be way more important for you.
But the prophecy says we live.
I guess we know we're not the ones doing the suicide part.
Again, your characters are alive in the present, so it would be very difficult for them to have committed suicide. That said, your characters could certainly be enticed to attempt it. Given the events that you're about to undertake.
Could be just like in the hell's that movie, Beer Fest, where the brother dies and the second brother shows up who's the twin and he's literally the same. He asked to be called the exact same name. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie.
Confusing. I don't know that there's that much else to say here.
I'm curious if all this dark stuff is about Van-Vee or Quentin.
It's both.
All right, then.
Your backstory is terrible. I've read it. Bad shit happens to you. I don't mean it's terrible like, man, this is the worst backstory I've ever read. I mean, like, wow, this is super sad.
I guess depending how far back we go, yeah.
We're going to start with you, Dunamis.
Okay.
The screen is black, lower left-hand corner. 0509, Lorenan System. Sword. Shenandoah Ward. District 12. June 1st, 3198. We see the sea, a beautiful green choppy sea. Above it, floating majestically, is a gilded floating city. Perfectly flat on the bottom, bubble sphere, hemisphere on the top. There are ports every so often on the outside set into the golden base where like cargo lighters and personal aircraft land on it and leave from it. You could tell that like cargo shipments are a big thing, as are like massive personal transports going in and out, but essentially buses carrying dozens of people. The sea just continues to chop, and then as if to use the bulk of this city to show you how far away they are, tiny dots on the horizon, and yet they approach so fast, moving at over 500 miles an hour. 2 speeding hyperboats go past the camera, just a massive wave of water. We follow the water, go over the camera helicopters around into a seawall 50 feet tall. We go up and over the seawall, and we hear 1990s like hip hop blasting out of a boombox with all of the sound quality issues you would have from that classic double, the big fat batteries in the back sort of shit.
D cells.
We are looking at a nightmare city. everywhere in every direction, you can barely see anything because orange smog chokes as far up as the camera and as far down as it can go. The camera, like, as it moves, you get the sense that the buildings that you see are truly massive. Given the size of vehicles you're looking at, are tiny pinpricks moving into them. It's like if Coruscant was a dark, evil place. You can't see the bottom. You can't see the base of the planet. It's just a sheer drop. And vehicles intertwine themselves like thousands. If this was CGI, it would be a real pain in the ass to animate, because we're talking like thousands of vehicles. Some of them are moving like up and down. Most of them are moving on an XY axis. There doesn't appear to be any form of traffic support. So things are just, vehicles collide, like safety patrols like go down or like racing down to save somebody's life at the same, like we watch two vehicles collide. They're going down and like a safety officer is like, I could do it, I could save them, it's only 1,000 feet to the bottom, and like that's like super dramatic, but that has nothing to do with what we're doing. Like that's just like a really minor thing happening in the background.
That's just everyday living.
Yeah. We follow huge super towers. Each of these towers has more people living in it than the entire population of Midapile. Like at the bottom of the screen, it just says 2 trillion population, 2 trillion. We go into one of the buildings, and as we pass through the wall, we see that each floor of this building, the ceiling has like a projected atmosphere, so that it looks like you're outside on a sunny day, and there's a projected floor that makes you look like you're, you know, walking down a nice concrete sidewalk or whatever, but clearly you can feel it. You're just walking on like steel plating. We follow around. There's a guy just sitting on a sidewalk holding up a sign that says "No Hope." And they like wave it at the camera as it goes past, and like the cameraman turns to watch him, and then as they turn back, there's a group of people holding up signs that say "Looking for work." We continue to go down. We take a turn down a side street. We are in a massive building, and within this massive building are skyscrapers. There are like apartment buildings, and then there's the fake ceiling, and there's another level that also has skyscrapers and massive buildings, and then another level. There's dozens of levels that have huge communities built into them. We cut up and up. Each level looks almost exactly the same in layout, so we're still continuing to follow this side street as we go up and up and up and up and up and up. But there's like different people. All of them have like different cultural garb. They appear to belong to, like, you know, like their skin tone is quite different than the person's before them, different haircuts. But many of them are still carrying signs that say "No Hope" or "Looking for Work." Finally, we arrive on the floor that we're looking at. It arrives at the end of this small cul-de-sac, and there is a mechanic shop that says Van-Vee's Workshop, University Graduate, 4.5-star review. And then the sign electronically flips and says, "He knows his stuff. Tuned my grav flyer right back up, and I didn't need 3-week administrative waiting period. Didn't have to take the grav bus, and thank the Lord. I heard that the boars will stab you on that thing." And then it flips again. So it should be noted, it's written in text, but if you look at it, it will transmit the sound towards your body so that you can hear the person doing the review. The second one says, "While I was maintaining the art of the blade, my multi-terrain vehicle caught the sharp edge of a monoblade. My man Van-Vee had the parts I needed, bro, and he didn't ask questions. By the time he finished, I had mastered the 3rd stealth draw cut from my favorite show, Another World Transfer Student Ronin." We go into this area. Van-Vee, you are underneath a grav flyer. You've got out several important parts. You've got like a hydra spanner and some sort of taking the oil pan out, getting that thing up. Just doing general mechanics checks. What's going on with you here in the year 3198, 2 years before you joined the crew?
It's 2 years before.
It's actually 18 months, but yeah.
The sign out front may have said another name with Van-Vee, Dar, possibly.
I want to say, if you want to bring him in, we do the sitcom thing where he walks in through a side thing and everybody laughs and you can hear somebody standing and clapping.
Did you already have plans for him? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, of course, old Dar. He shows up and he goes, Van-Vee. Yeah, so, listen, about that hyperboat haul. I managed to get my hands on one down on dock 293131.5.
You say what? You got one?
Yeah,
How?
Of course, man.
And it's ours? How'd you do that?
I woke up this morning and I was shaking. You know, I had the energy. I knew that I could do it. I went out to my bookie, placed a couple of sweet bets on Blast Ball, Cunningham specifically. I knew that he was going to dunk Cunning Ridge this time around. Up here, I had a feeling. Okay? Big money.
Why didn't you tell me? We could have doubled up on that. I would have been right there with you.
That's bad juju. You just leave this to me. You just leave it to me. Okay?
You're right.
You can see he's like jumping up and down. His hands are trembling. He does this a lot. You're not really sure why.
What kind of condition we talking? What shape is she in?
It's just the fiberglass hull. We're gonna need to build the cabin.
It's a base.
Get the engine in there. We're gonna put the spike drive capacitor in there as well. I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest, my man. I know the basics. I'm gonna need you to do the aesthetic design and get all the parts in place. You just do. He like walks down to help you get you up to have a conversation face to face rather than with your face in a motor.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as Van-Vee heard this, you know, the mechanic like slides out from underneath whatever he's working on. He's like, well, let's go get her. Let's go look at. Drops whatever job he was working on.
Yeah, okay, man. Let's take my flyer. I think you should drive.
I'm okay with it.
Okay, let's go. So the two of you get into it's essentially like a 2-seater smooth bulb glass cockpit. And then like a very small series of like 6 micro thruster engines and like 2 skids on the bottom. It does not look safe, but you know, you and old Dar's custom grav flyer takes off, kind of. You're breaking 40 miles an hour on a good day with some wind behind you.
I'm sure it's perfectly balanced as we go to.
It's not balanced at all. Not at all. I mean, so the big problem is all the weight is in the front. The two of you are like, it's a helicopter that constantly wants to turn forward.
Dart, lean back, man. I told you, got to balance her out. I haven't had time to, tune up that right thrust.
Okay.
Customers should take care of first.
So he takes like, one of those like movable tablets and he starts like rebalancing the thrusters Star Wars Episode 1 style, where you know, like he makes the right anti-grav like stronger than the left so that it and you stop limping sideways for a little bit.
He gets that go-go gadget arm and it can use his mid-race.
As you're flying, there's like a skywalk between 2 of these massive super buildings. And to be clear, like from a distance, the skywalk looks small, but it is in fact like 6 stacked super highways as you get closer. And the side of it says, Astora, a company in the Echelon family. You fly under it, and then we cut to you hovering over the dock. Careful not to go over the water, because flying intentionally over the water without a permit is super illegal. If you're destroying the water purity is a very serious crime here.
I think just even knowing that there is part of our hyperboat waiting, if there's a way to cut some corners, get there a little quicker, that's right.
Check, but you have to do it using your stats from episode 1, your level 1 stats.
It's like you knew I just upped it. So it would just subtract 2, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it still with charisma? I don't understand that.
Oh no,
Probably-
you're not rolling with charisma. You're rolling with dexterity here.
That's what that makes sense.
So the thing about Stars Without Numbers Revised is that the skill you're rolling with isn't set.
Yeah.
So pilot isn't always dexterity. It just defaults to charisma, I think, for all skills.
Okay, that's good to know. I thought it was trying to tell me charisma is like makes most sense in its eyes, and I was like, I don't get that.
I think it just defaults to charisma.
Okay, so I did a -2 already in there.
Ooh, 6 is like beginner level basics. You will like limp there. I feel like in the process, your landing comes in a little low, and you bump the skid, and the whole thing like.
That makes sense because at this time I'm a better fixer than a pilot, so that makes sense.
Old Dar slams up against the side of the cockpit. He comes back and goes, I'll
go ahead and quote the Penguins Madagascar and say any landing you can walk away from is a good one.
Vandorn. Come on, man. I'm old. You can't be breaking my shit.
Well, we fixed that thruster and we'll be wet as rain. So, but where is she? Shoma, come on, let's go.
We're here.
Yeah, but where is she?
So there's
she
like
under
a
the tarp?
small wooden sign that says TCA. Someone has like walked forward and like is like picking the sign up and walking away, and he does this when he sees Dar. He's just like, oh, yeah. As he walks away, he's wearing like a sharp business suit. What you see is the fiberglass empty hull of a hyperboat that has been tied to the docks. So it's like a 30-foot schooner hull, essentially. There's a lot of equipment. So hyperboats are only meant to hold 2 people, but they have a lot of electronic equipment that has to be packed into them, and you have to balance the level of buoyancy versus the weight of it. Like the more weight you have, the more stability and control. But the more buoyancy you have, the faster you can get up on your hydrofoils and get up to that 500 miles an hour.
You know what I see here, Dar? Potential.
Yeah,
I see
too.
potential.
Yeah. Okay.
One question. How are we getting this back to the shop?
I mean, we can just listen. It does not weigh that much. We can just hook it to the grav flyer and lift it.
All right. Well, let's put it on that right side, maybe in the back a bit, help balance out a bit.
Okay. We get a montage of the 2 of you going into the garage, working on grav flyers, working on ATVs, cars, scooters, motorcycles, vehicles from all walks of life. Some people come in and they appear to be quite wealthy and doing well for themselves. Other people appear to just be completely blank-eyed. They're only coming in here because you were the first person they saw to get a repair from.
Nice.
And this is normal here on Thord. People just seem to check out.
I'm sure Dar and I take every penny we earn and go right to the bookies.
Yeah, give me a fix check real quick, and then we're actually going to go to those bookies.
I believe I upped fix when I went from level 1 to 2. Do you want the original?
I want the original.
Okay,
of course I want the original. Come on now.
I'll add a -1.
I'll take dexterity or wisdom. I feel like either.
Let's do. I mean, they're the same, but let's go with wisdom. Actually, no, we gotta go dexterity. I don't have any wisdom because RP wise. These are some tough rolls.
This thing is looking rough. You are out of money. You're out of parts. And this thing is nowhere near ready. No spike drive capacitor. There's no even like an engine or a charging port. You have like a basic interior framework, but no like cabin to sleep in, no electronic system for navigational charts. Old Dar suggests you go gambling in order to make your next bit of cash.
Yeah, I think given the excitement level, actually, it's kind of similar to MINERVA. All we need is a drive to make it go, right? As long as it goes, we can race it. We don't need everything else yet.
No, that doesn't sound right, but let's do it. As he flies you over to his bookie in the gambling hall in another mega tower, and his hands are shaking the whole time. His leg is tapping up and down with nervous excitement. as he goes in, he licks his lips. He walks over to his bookie and he says, okay, my usual bet, but double up and cover. Give me the shaky wakey, 6 and 6 on Cunning Ridge, and split the hustle on the third Florida Gacha Flex. The bookie looks like he understood all of that and says, all right, are you sure? You go naked, sometimes you get the dick slammed in the door. And old Dar's just like, oh yeah, man, look, I've got a feeling. All right. I think that's my slot machine back there. Hold on a sec. He goes back there and just starts playing the slots.
I think as he's next to the slot machine, I'll come up next to him and be like, hey, Dar, you all right, man? I know you've got your tremors, but you seem a little more unusual right now.
What are you talking about?
Well, hold your hand out, man. Hold it out.
He holds his hand out. It's perfectly still right now.
All right. I must be seeing things. My mistake. I trust you.
Yeah, I'm good. You know, sometimes I just get real excited. You know?
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah. You know,
you just got the first part
feel
of our hyperboat.
alive when I'm here or when I'm working with you on the vehicles. You know, everything's just so fucking boring on this planet. Lord sucks ass.
It's an opportunity, man. You just got to find the right ones, and I think you're doing great at that.
He puts a hand on your shoulder, his left hand, so he can still continue to pull press his buttons and then pull the lever for a slot machine.
I was gonna say, is he one of those where he actually pulls it, or does he just hit the button?
Or no, he presses the buttons, but then he actually pulls it. He continues to do it out of the side of his eye while maintaining eye contact with you.
So has no idea if he's winning or losing.
It doesn't matter to him. It's clear. Yeah. It's obviously clear. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He just needs to bet. He says, "Look, my man, you're not from here, and I get that. I know it seems like there's a lot going on here, but nothing ever happens on Thord. People say that we have the best entertainment, but who do you think's making that entertainment? It's the city administration computer, okay? They decide where you live, what job you get, how much you get paid. Look, I heard the other week that the Shoshone Ward, there was a war between the Reforged Empire of the New Steel and Mistler and Sons attorneys at law. Both the Empire and that corporation were hiring trade legions, opened up on each other. Both of their leaderships lost their houses. Now they're out on the street, and they can't use any civic services because the city computer shut them down. That's a great way of maintaining peace, I'm sure. But that's scary, man. You make one mistake and your life is done. You're out on the streets, and if you're very lucky, you might not go down to the reclamation levels."
You know, well, I can't say. I mean, you obviously know far more than I do because you're right. I'm not from here, but I believe things can happen here, but we have to make them happen for ourselves. I think that's what we're doing.
I'm gonna be honest here with you, Van-Vee, in a way that I'm rarely honest with other people. I think I could see myself retiring to a flying city. You know, Tokyo, maybe New York City, but you came here from space. I think once we get a few hyperboat races under us, you need to get out, man. You need to get out. You need to go home.
Well, I don't know about home, but let's agree on one thing. Let's get ourselves a little nest egg, and then let's go see more opportunities. Let's keep growing, you and me.
The bookie starts swearing. He gets a briefcase and he brings it over to Dar. And he looks at Dar and he goes, "How'd you know?" And Dar says, "Would you believe me if I said I saw it?" "Thanks, James. Thanks." And he takes the briefcase and he's like, "Come on, let's get out of here. Let's go."
I imagine, Van-Vee, even though he's supposed to probably keep a low profile after something like that, stands up and he's like, "Wait, what just happened? Did you win?"
"Yeah, man.
Tell me you won."
300,000 in here.
"Oh shit, Dar."
Let's go get it. Let's go get everything.
Yeah, right. Cool. Play cool. All right.
Cool. We're not in a good part of town.
Right. Thank you, James.
James is looking like he's gonna have both of you killed.
Oh. Thank you, James. Exit.
You get some parts. Tell me about what you want your hyperboat to look like. What's your ideal hyperboat if you were gonna have a 39-foot schooner that was meant to go 500 miles an hour, and you needed to live in for multiple days while out on the water, what would it look like? You know, are you really Spartan and it's just like 2 beds and a algae disposing cooking unit and a bathroom, or is it like some velvet caped 4-post beds and like a full cooking station with a broiler and a rice cooker? Like, what am I looking at? There's more than just those 2 options. I'm just curious as to what you think Van-Vee would find acceptable. You know,
I think it's more the former, where he's a minimalist, just the basics for living on it. Everything else goes into what he thinks would make it faster, whether it be aerodynamics, like what I call cigar boats that have the long, narrow front. Like the profile is all about what he thinks will make it go faster and faster. He doesn't care about quality of life when on the ship, as long as it functions.
Okay. The 2 of you spend $300,000 like water and get all the parts that you need. There's not enough time tonight to get it done. Old Dar signs you up for a race in 2 days. And he says, look, I'm going to stay here late at the shop and keep working on this. You're the real pilot. You go home and get this done. Okay?
I can't let you do that. We're doing this together.
We're doing it together, but why don't you let me stick with the mechanics? Okay? Let the old master do his work. I need you to pilot the boat. I can get through tomorrow like a zombie.
You know, the streak you're on, I mean, you're better with a wrench. You predicted that bet. Well, who am I to argue with you? All right, just this once. I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning, though.
The lower left-hand corner says, it goes black, and it says, February 2nd, 3199, 3 a.m. local time. You are awoken as the mega tower shakes slightly, and you see that even though it's supposed to be dark outside, orange flame rising into the sky.
Well, shit, that's not good. I mean, this is Thor, but I won't actually. Can I tell directionally? Is that my alarm, I'm guessing?
No, it's fire department is arriving in order to put out the massive pillar of flame.
Directionally, can I tell where it's coming from?
You live in a apartment not too far from your shop. You think it's coming from your shop.
Oh, I book it. Quickly get out.
You
get
head
out of bed.
down the fire escape. Yeah. Your shop is absolutely, like, by now, the mushroom cloud, done. The ceiling has been scorched enough that, like, there's a hole in the projection of a night sky that's just like charred steel plating, exposed wires, a smoldering charred ruin, smoke pouring out of it, and your shop, which you've spent, the better part of a year buying and working on, is just an empty husk. You think you can see part of the hyperboat still in there? Like a firefighter approaches you and says, "Sir, you need to stay back. There's a containment issue. Something there. I think that there was germanium, platinum ions involved in there. I think someone had a spike drive that has caught fire. All right, sir, step back. Step back.
Wait, so this is my shop.
Step back. I will restrain you."
Wait, there was an individual inside working. Did you find him?
Okay, you get like manhandled as he flips you around and just starts trying to like use twist ties on the back of your hands.
Curse
what do you
my
want to
weak
do?
strings. I'm still gonna verbally press for information. Physically,
I mean, like as long as you're allowing yourself to be led away, he just says, "Look, buddy, if you think somebody was in that shop, no one survives at those temperatures. Not even a robot."
Is there a body? Like, did I find someone? Did he get out? Let me call someone. Let me see if I can.
We can't even get inside. Okay.
Let me reach my phone. Let me see if I can call someone.
Yeah, he gets your phone out for you and puts it up to your ear.
I try to call Dar, or whatever the equivalent of calling is.
This is the city administration computer. The number you've dialed is not available and has been disconnected from service.
No. No. I think he's in there. What if he's still in there now?
I mean, the firefighter's just like, listen, he like takes you down to the curb and sits you down. And he's like, look, buddy.
Tapes me? Is that a thing?
I mean, he's like pushing you along.
Oh, I thought you meant like literally taped me on the floor.
No,
I was like,
takes you.
Oh,
and you can resist any of this at any point if you want to tell me.
Yeah, I think as soon as I heard the answering machine, I'm standing back up and trying to go back to the event.
Oh, he's definitely going to block you for sure. I mean, again, you've been zip tied behind your back right now, so it's really easy to block you at this point.
The most I can do is like a shoulder check and try to run by.
Okay, make a physical effect save.
A save. I don't know how do you. Shoot. So right now it's a V12.
That's okay. You can roll it. We'll know whether it passed or not. Your physical effect save when you started was like a 13 or a 14. You failed. You failed by a lot. You rolled a 4.
Yeah. Okay.
You try to get past him, and he just hits you with the hypo spray, and you fall to the ground face first with your hands behind your back, so you can't even catch yourself. You wake up in a hospital with smoke inhalation. You're being treated for cancer because you were exposed to a radioactive event. Fortunately, you live on a TL4 world, so cancer treatment will be done in about a week or so. Your apartment burned down. Actually, most of the block was destroyed. The fire spread immediately afterwards.
Jesus, so I have nothing except what I'm carrying.
Yeah, you have nothing but what you have on you right now.
Great.
And in addition, the city computer has a massive outstanding debt because it was your facility that caused the fire. You're being charged a portion of all of the destroyed buildings.
I think I would refute that. Say, well, how do we know what the root cause was? How do you know my shop's how do you know a bomb wasn't put in there? Like what?
So you start asking questions, and you're like in a hospital bed. You could see your blood pressure rising, and like from your blood pressure monitor, a face appears that's like,
looks like MINERVA.
No, a white male with kind of like pinkish skin, wavy, boyish hair, chestnut brown, mid-30s. Just says, "Hello, I understand you wanted to contest the charges with the city administration computer. I can be a terminal to help you with that."
Yeah, darn right. I need proof that I'm at fault here. Like what? How
understood? The city administration computer has already compiled such proof and has issued a summary judgment.
You make a judgment when I'm not even awake to plead my case?
Yes,
that doesn't seem fair. Well, can I see their summary?
Of course. They outline for you. You have no idea what this says. It's a extremely technical readout made by a computer, indicating like points of fire beginning, and it just says, well, we have closed your insurance account that you had on your hyperboat and your employees grav flyer and your shop, and that will cover almost all the expenses. Fortunately, we've reassigned you a new housing unit on one of the lower levels.
Wait, hold on back. I didn't understand half of what you just said. Who's paying for that new housing unit? And what do you mean you sold off the grav unit? That wasn't even mine. That was
the city administration computer is just assigning you a new housing unit.
Well, I would like to have a conversation with this
We're having a conversation right now.
So it's you. Why don't you say you're the one assigning me that? I don't understand this.
I am a terminal of the city administration computer.
Where can I come find you? I don't find this conversation adequate. No, like... Where do you exist outside of like a pop-up screen?
I understand you're having trouble with this. I am a virtual presence, a piece of software designed to interact with humans.
All right. Well, how do I disagree formally with your decision? Because I think it's dead wrong.
Understood. Your disagreement has been noted, and the city administration computer will make a judgment at its earliest convenience.
Wait, so you'll make a second decision.
I am simply a terminal, but yes, in the way that you are implying.
Well, this doesn't make any sense at all. I want to speak to is there a 0 on this? Can I hit 0 somewhere?
I mean, again, this is a blood pressure monitor device.
Yeah, so he's thoroughly confused how to interact.
You're like hitting stuff on it, and you like hit the nurse call button, and a nurse comes in and is just like, do you need help, sir?
Does this robot work for you?
I think that's the city administration computer terminal.
Oh, yeah. Where can I talk to a person that
Well,
this
I'm
thing
a
reports
person.
to? Yeah. Okay. Oh, man. I feel like everyone here is. Okay. Okay. Mr. Terminal, sir,
Yes,
where can I talk to your supervisor? That's a term you should know, right?
I am my own supervisor.
Now, what kind of cockamamie system is that? Doesn't make any dang sense at all.
One designed by humans.
This has got to be a dream. This can't be right. Nurse, come back in, an hour. I think
So
I
the
need
city
to.
administration computer turns to the nurse and says, he's going to need a full psychological panel. He appears to be having a break from reality. You'll find the paperwork has been sent to you now.
Now, hold on. Who are you to make that decision?
The nurse is just like, okay, understood. Thank you very much.
Now, wait, hold on. I have a disagreement with your
Sir,
decision.
I need you to calm down. We're going to place you in restraints, and we're going to get you over to the psychiatric ward.
Now, I feel it's unfair. You can tell me that when you're making all the decisions.
Restraints to get your hands on the side picks. And as the scene fades, that is the last we see of Van-Vee for a little while.
Till he meets Quentin. All right.
I feel like this. It's a little early, but I think we should take the break.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get started with Ludemann's part and stop midway through
to Quentin.
What happens to Quentin. We're going to take like a 5-minute break. We're going to roll some Twitch ads so that Twitch won't interrupt everybody while I'm doing my story as well. And hey, folks at home, we're going to be combining both videos together into one episode. I think we might be doing that for a while going forward, so that it'll just be one episode altogether. So when we get back, we'll see what's up with Quentin in his past, his mysterious past we know a little bit about because we've seen some of it.
Hopefully it goes better than V's.
He vomited. It was so tragic. So yeah.
It's fine. We're all fine.
I appreciate that when I asked if we were going to go back, Ludemann said sure, but he said it in the way that lets me know he knows he's doomed. He didn't actually say it like that. I was just... The screen is black. It reads 0506, Doribo system. Orbit over Doribo 6, gas giant. We see a ship that looks quite similar to the LAS Golden Goose, but the armor is considerably thinner. It's basically just like a plastic welded plate, airtight, keeping the ship together. It doesn't have like the extra bulge in the middle. A number of conveniences are not present, and like the salvaging arm looks different. It also looks like the ship's about 50 years old rather than the LAS Golden Goose, which has been built in the last 10 years. It's called the TAS Donna Paz Proteus class salvager. And on the side of it is emblazoned Astora, a company in the Echelon family. June 1st, 3198. So your boss just walks into your personal room with like no regard for your privacy at all. He's like a somewhat overweight, kind of tall, extremely heavy Irishman with like a full curled beard that's like brown with a little bit of gray, and then like very balding on top. His name is Gustard Malusha, and he has a cap that says chief on it, which is what he uses instead of captain, because you are the captain of the ship administratively. Like you fill out paperwork and get the ship around and do like record keeping, but he's the company has him be the real captain for all actual decision making purposes.
Gotcha.
But for paperwork, because you're a lead-in, they have you
I'm
be
useful.
the captain of the ship. So he uses the title chief. Hey, buddy, Quinn. Yeah, look, we're almost drive's almost done. We're slowing down, turning around, and burning. we're almost at the wreck. Let's get to the pad. Okay.
Oh, all right, Chief.
I'll see you there in 2, champ.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. He just picks his pad up and he actually knocks on the second room and goes, Livy, it's almost time. We're gonna need that mechanical safety briefing. Hope you've looked over the documents. Just remember, time's money. Okay. As you're leaving your room to head to the pad, you almost collide with Livy, who rushes out of her room, and you guys do like a meet cute where both of you fumble what you're carrying, and she like picks up yours and you pick up hers.
Bump heads.
She looks exhausted. Actually, she looks surprisingly similar to Iono Kanto, almost like they could be sisters. Or at the very least, if they were actresses, they'd be played by someone with a familial connection. Kind of a short Japanese woman, extremely dark rings under her eyes. Despite being quite young, she's already developing like worry lines and like crow's feet at the edge just from her constant, incredibly tense lifestyle. She's wearing a simple gray jumpsuit with the Astora logo on it. No like weird cap or any affectations that Gustard has. And she goes, my apologies, Quentin.
You doing all right?
Yeah, that's mine.
Here you go.
She hands you your stuff. You first, please.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, sure. All right. And he'll awkwardly step in front and start down the hallway.
Yeah, as you float down the hallway, because in Astora, who's paying for all of that grav plating? That's ridiculous. 0.1 G's is good enough for Astora. You pass Louis, who's just like uncomfortably doing corkscrews nearby through the air, trying to get at his food.
Passing by, Quentin will push, just to give the food a little push with telekinesis and move it towards him.
Louis,
there you go, bud.
He like gently bounces off the wall, but he's very used to this and just uses it to direct himself to more food in the process. You don't normally see Livy get very active about anything, but she is very respectful of Louis, and she gives him like a greeting, and he kind of nods to her wisely in the capybara way, using his nose as the forefront. But you know, she does that while on the move and continuing to walk. And the two of you meet up. So in the LAS Golden Goose, the salvaging area is located at the front of the ship, and like the pilot's area with a large open shield. Instead, this is set in the back in the engineering section, and all the work is done with a remote controlling cameras. And so everybody steps into what's called the pad. You can feel like the spike drive and all the energy thumbing underneath you as the ship slows down and is parking. We cut to an exterior shot where we can see that your ship is approaching a ship that's like 12 times bigger than it. It's quite considerably more massive. You know, like spaceships really don't get super big. Like even a battleship isn't like super massive. We're not at like Star Destroyer and Super Star Destroyer level. This is quite big. Bottom left hand corner says Northumbria, bulk freighter class cruiser. Last known active signal 450 years ago.
Oh wow.
So yeah, Guster's just like, okay, let's get it together, gang. So, sensors picked this up a couple weeks ago from a ship passing through the system. Obviously, Astora has dispatched us here. It was hiding in the gravity shadow of 2 different asteroids, which means we are getting premium pick of this. We're going to take it back to Finana. I'm sure they can either strip it apart or put it back together, whatever works for them. So, mechanical safety officer, why don't you just... And then you hear, like... and then a slight hiss, and a second hiss, and you look up, and there's a hole in the side of the ship. And you look down, and there's a hole almost between your feet. And then you hear... and there's, like, almost like bullet holes all over the engineering section. Guster's just like, what the and then like foam is being released by the ship's computer in order to plug the holes. And he's like, what the hell? That's not showing up on sensors. And Livy's like, oh shit. Oh god. Oh god. And then here's the thing about human perception. You ever look at a clock and it feels like the second hand is hanging? That's because your brain rewrites your memory of what you saw to catch up with where the second hand is by the time it's processed it. That's real. Look it up. That happens to you right now. For you, you don't know when the bolt that's hanging in space in front of you. It's literally like a bolt from like a ship, like something that would be attached to a washer, is hanging in space in front of you. You are aware that this bolt is probably traveling thousands of miles an hour and has easily penetrated the exterior of your ultra-thin, unarmored ship. You can't move. You're just in a moment between time. But you can see like the top of the exterior of it has like part of a logo on it that seems to say like Banners something. Banner J, maybe? Banner G? Hard to say. And then you follow it down. Even though your eyes are still looking in the same direction, you follow it in your vision as best it can. It goes right down into the spike drive. At that moment, when you buy a roasting ham, it comes in like a mesh package around it that you have to cut off. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I want you to imagine that you had something like that, but it was made out of 1 molecule thick steel wires, razor sharp, and then an incredibly strong force pulled, and then you just had long strips of cubed ham everywhere.
Ooh.
That's what happens to Gustard's entire body. There's like 1 inch cube, but very long, like a foot long, of like his brain, the next layer of his brain, the next layer of his brain, his arm, his eyeballs, all just collapse to the floor. Everything that was inside of his body, blood, bile, feces, all just immediately spreads out on the floor around him. As you're watching, Livy's lung comes out of her body. It's almost like her lung is gravitationally pulling itself out of her body and attracted to the ceiling. And she's looking at you, trying to get you to help her.
Quentin is starting to scream, but no sound is coming out. He's reaching forward, like shock starting to sort of just frozen.
Make a physical effects save. You reach out a hand towards her as she's Oompa Loomping towards the ceiling, more of her organs being pulled out by the lung, and you pass out from the pain. Then you wake up, and you pass out from the pain again. When you wake up again, you aren't really sure what went wrong here, just that the engine blew and flung you against the wall. Livy is definitely dead. Mm-hmm. And you're lying on the floor, and she's lying with an arm outstretched towards you with multiple internal organs out of her mouth, hanging there, her dead eyes staring at you. And you have a buzzing sound in your ears, like tinnitus, and your head hurts so bad, like you haven't taken your MES medicine in a couple of days.
He starts to try to get up.
Okay, your legs are broken. You can't feel them anymore. Make a physical effects save. You pass out again. You're awoken by voices. You hear 2 women talking, and then you hear a dozen more people, but you can't understand the language. It seems pretty unusual. When you finally get your eyes open, there are 2 women kneeling beside you. They're in like white spacers outfits, jumpsuits. One of them has a nameplate that says Ride, and the other has one that says McAuliffe. And the one that says McAuliffe like leans down and puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "You're not dead yet, my friend. It's not your time to go yet. Okay? Are you with me?
Where am I?
You're still on your ship. You're dying."
Is anyone alive? Is Louis all right?
The capybara. Yeah, he's perfectly fine. You really need to worry about yourself. The woman with the name tag Ride kind of cuts in and says, "Look, your ship has a rescue beacon on the engineering deck below you. You're going to have to get close to the spike drive and turn it on. I know that your legs are broken. Ed says that there's another ship that's not very far away. You've got 2 arms, and they look like they're still good. I'm going to need you to crawl to the ladder at that hatch over there, and you're going to have to lower your entire body down there and get to the rescue beacon and press the button. Okay? You can't worry about Louis. Hey, look at me. You can do this."
So wait, so I may have misunderstood. These people aren't actually here?
Do you think they're here? Do you want to interact with them in some way?
Yeah, Quentin will like reach out and try to touch. Like, why can't
the one with Ride like grabs your hand and holds it? It feels like they're really here.
Why can't you help?
We're not where you are.
Quentin's just confused. He knows one thing, which is that he doesn't want to die, and he does try to take that first, not step, but
Crawl.
Make
a physical effects save. And if that sounds familiar.
All right.
You, through intense pain, your head has never hurt so bad. And honestly, you've never been the strongest psionic. Yeah, you're a trained psionic and you have the ability to learn any psionic discipline, but like your grandfather is basically the equivalent of a god. And the rest of your family isn't bad either. Like they're quite powerful psionics. You've been like level 0 for most of your adulthood, and that really you've plateaued. The pain crippling back down your psionic line, like through your mind, is so intense right now. But you muster up the focused willpower that only a trained master psychic can have, and you use both of your arms and begin crawling across the ground. As you do, the 2 women who were talking to you disappear, and you begin moving yourself across the pad towards the engineering hatch door. As you do, you like blink, and suddenly there's a woman laying on the floor almost seductively, but wearing a white spacer jumpsuit that does not look very good at all. I mean, it's super padded, right? Like you can't see her body shape in it at all, but she's like laying on the floor with her arm like this. She's wearing an ushanka, which probably you've never seen one before. And there's like a big hammer and sickle in red and gold on her hat. And she says, "Come on, Tovarish, you'll make it. I don't doubt. Show me some of these cowboy guts I've heard so much about." And she gestures, she's like mocking you, and she's gesturing towards the hatch.
Quentin's whispering, "You're not real. You're not real. You're not real." And I am dying, and continues to crawl. And I'm envisioning Spies Like Us, the movie, for the costume somehow. I don't know. Go on.
You get the door open, and this is absolutely going to be the hardest part, is going down this ladder. It's a straight up and down. It's meant to be done in low or normal gravity with 2 legs and 2 arms.
Yeah. Oh, and there's gravity right now.
There is 0.1 gravity right now.
Okay.
But you know, like you cannot afford to be flinging yourself around in here, right? Like if you move too quickly and you just start floating out, you're going to slam into something, exacerbate your injuries. You don't know what's going on with your legs, honestly. As you open it, the woman that is now on the other side of it disappears, and there's a African American man at the bottom. He's got a blue jumpsuit and a name tag that reads Lawrence Jr. And he gestures to you. He's like, "All right, come on, my man. We're gonna get a tavern cut slice. Just come on down here."
Tavern cut. Tavern cut?
Yeah, tavern cut, you know?
Tavern cut. He just keeps repeating the phrase. It's like his brain's a little broken right now.
Make a physical effect save. You fall. And it hurts. You don't fall fast. And you don't fall far. And in the process, you're scrambling and you do that thing like where you're falling and you bang your arm off of stuff on the way down. It causes you to corkscrew and you land on your face. And that breaks your fall. And as you're like blinded by the pain, you look up, Lawrence is gone, and you can see that all of Gustard's bodily fluids are now all over the bottom half of your jumpsuit. Like you have crawled through his guts to get here.
If there is anything in Quentin's stomach, it's coming up at that point.
The button is so close to you, but you're very weak. You're dying. You're nearly dead. And it would require you to stand up, pull yourself to the console, and press it.
Can I reach out and telekinesis and slam it?
Did you have telekinesis at level 0?
Yeah, level 0.
You slam and you hit the plastic cover on the top.
Oh. Oh.
You don't have the level of fine manipulation at level 0 needed to flip it up and press the button. And
Quentin starts just cursing, like and it gets angry, right? And tries to use that to go for him.
A shadow falls over you. And you see a man, he's wearing a red space outfit. He stands over you, half of his face is burned. And he kneels. The shadow leaves you. He gets real close to you. Dark hair, very white skin, and says, "You are a son of America, yes?"
Yeah.
We do not have gods where I come from. We kill gods with mind. Have you heard of this Greek god Heracles, god of strength, son of king of gods?
Quentin is like, his mind fills with images, right? Like he's definitely knows those stories, right? Like that feels like something that's survived a little bit, at least the mythology.
He pulls out a cigarette and lights it and then offers you one.
Yeah. Quentin takes it.
He lights yours with his and he says, "So I like this story. There is farmer, his cart breaks. He is angry and he says, 'Gods help me.' No gods help him. People pass by, he says, 'Help me.' No one helps him. Heracles descends from gods, comes down to the farmer. The farmer says, 'Why is no one helping me?' And Heracles, he says, 'You are not helping yourself. People see you standing around waiting for someone to help.' No one does. The farmer, he goes, and he tries to pull cart out of rut and get it moving. And he is filled with strength of Heracles. My friend, I do not believe in the gods, but you are in dire, desperate need of help. And so I will help you. Because I died so that another may live." He grabs you by your collar and pulls you up and begins walking you backwards so that the back of like your left hand like brushes up against the button. He says, "Push it. Push it."
Lightly, Quentin scrabbles, and he's like staring at this guy, like trying to memorize
he's
the face.
crazy-eying you.
Yeah. Or he's got the cigarette in the other hand, I guess, and takes the puff and puts the effort in to go and pop the top.
You press the button.
Whispers, "Who are you?"
He says, "Who am I? We are all bones in the ocean." You fall. You land sideways on the ground. It seems like pressing the button got the grav plates working at least a little better. It's a soft bounce. You rise up a little bit, you land again. For some reason, the guy is gone, but there is now a 1.5 foot tall pile of flaming melted flesh where he was. It looks like someone took a human, compressed them down. It's absolutely fucking disgusting.
Quentin is dry heaving. Does he still have the cigarette?
Yeah.
Oh. He's staring at that.
You pass out again. In your dreams, you are approached by Ludemann. I mean, the person that I'm talking to behind the camera right now appears to talk to Quentin. And he says, I see you when I dream. Am I the butterfly, or is it you?
Huh. It's Quentin.
He slaps you in the face. And then he like very animatedly grabs you and says, I will see you again in 1,000 years in the place where all things meet. And you suddenly wake up. Someone has like a medical kit. And it's like, sir, remain calm. Your legs are broken. You are in shock. And you can hear someone else in the background just going like, okay, we've got a containment breach here. Looks like the ship is in mid drill spike. It's attempting to enter. We are attempting to stabilize. And you pass out again from the pain of being administered intense combat narcotics. The next time you remember anything, not the next time you wake up, but the next time you remember anything, you are bandaged, your legs are working, and you are listening to wah, 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 as some suit is talking to you on Thord at the Astora headquarters. And he slams a piece of paper between the two of you and he says, all right, so that's how it is. We're shipping you to the Exchange of Light Station in 0501. That's the Admiti system. Technically, all of your contracts say that if somebody dies in space, you get to go to the Astronaut Memorial in 0501. You will also be administered therapy there, and you will be paid your full corporate salary while you're there and transported back here to Thord, at which time you will be discharged with 3 months' pay. You will not receive a recommendation. You will not be rehired, and you will be blacklisted from all echelon companies for your failure to uphold corporate policy. Do you understand?
And this is the first thing Quentin remembers.
Yes.
It's this moment. And
hello. Do you understand?
I
Jesus is a vegetable.
Not.
Okay. Sign here. And he like puts a pen in your hand and is trying to like get you to sign a document.
And Quentin like slaps the hand away.
I'm sorry. Is something a little bit too difficult for you? You fucking destroyed one of our ships, idiot.
I didn't do shit.
Are you talking back to me?
Who the hell? Who are you? Who the hell are you?
I'm your supervisor.
Does Quentin actually remember this person?
No,
any
because
way?
Gustard is your supervisor, but
That's
of course
right.
he's
Okay.
dead.
Yeah. And Quentin remembers really none of that incident directly right now.
Yeah.
He's fully confused. I'm not signing anything. How long have I been here?
Okay. Let me be real with you, my man. You have been through a really bad accident, and we are going to full ride pay for you to go to therapy for as long as you want. The rest of your life, we're contractually obligated, but only if you sign this piece of paper right now. If you refuse, I'm going to boot you out into the street.
Where are we?
You're on Thord.
No, man, I didn't do this. This is not my responsibility. What did I do? What?
Look, it's been 3 months, okay? I can tell you're having some problems here because of the accident. You have been in a medical coma for some time. The doctors say that your memory will have some trouble returning. Apparently, you were without MES medication for quite some time. Okay? You are responsible as the last surviving crewman of the Doña Paz for all actions that happened to it. The damage that was caused to the Doña Paz, and as a result, the damage that was caused to our legal salvage, the Northumbria, are on your head.
Quentin's trying to process that. Essentially what he's saying is that it's gone, everyone's gone, they're dead. At that point, he probably becomes shell-shocked a little bit, and it just sort of starts to go along with what is...
You X the document. The next thing you remember, several months later, the bottom of the screen, black screen, February 2nd, 3199, is you with your hand on Louis. You're exiting a shuttle at the main exchange of light station in... I literally just had this up. In 0501, the ad media system, which should be noted is also the current destination of this crew in the present as well, because it's where Palamedes is. The salvaging job. So the Exchange of Light is a neo-Buddhist banking system that arose when the Terran Mandate didn't help colonists out. The Exchange of Light was basically like, okay, we're just going to be everybody's neutral banker. And everyone went along with that because they had a lot of money and power. And so now that the scream is over and the second wave has begun, some people just got into the exchange station, got their training manuals, and just started the exchange station back up. And so the credit is all based off of what the Exchange of Light says it is. This station is truly massive. So if you remember, Van-Vee's parents own a station that could keep 10,000 people in it. This one easily houses 500,000 people in space.
It's a quarter of the population of Lita.
Yeah. You've got a ticket that, it just says that you have been docked to Lunar Memorial Module. And the shuttle captain behind you is just sir, I need you to exit the boarding ramp. I have a schedule to keep. Louis just kind of looks up at you worriedly.
Mm-hmm. Quentin pats him and says, come on, Louis, let's go.
So Lou's got 2 little saddlebags on the side of him that have the remains of Gustard and Livy.
Okay.
And so you're going to inter them here according to the, you're reading through this paperwork. You don't remember any of this, even though it's been months since you've been on Thord. You think maybe you've probably read this every day, perhaps several times a day since then, but just you're completely mixed up. You just are missing moments.
Yeah, full on amnesia.
You approach the front desk of the Lunar Memorial, and there are 17 faces, and you recognize all of them as some of the people that appeared around you.
Oh.
So the one in the center and the one that the entire space station is named the Colonel Vladimir Mikhailovich Komarov Memorial Station. And he's the center one. And it lists him as the first man to die in space. And it has a quote under it: "I died so another may live." One of the monks sees you walking around hesitantly and approaches you. He's wearing a veil so you can't see his face, and long black mourning robes with the super huge sleeves, and says, "Brother, have you come to inter some more souls, those who have died in space?"
He turns towards Louis and gestures and says, yeah, I've got a couple crewmates. And he's staring at the picture a little bit and just looks familiar.
Yeah, I mean, you recognize all 17 of these people.
Right.
You see the one who offered to have a tavern cut with you is apparently Robert Henry Lawrence Jr. And he it's a picture of him just like this, smiling at the camera, wearing, you don't know what USAF means, but it seemed pretty significant.
Yeah. And Quentin's having these this feeling that he recognizes them, but he doesn't necessarily. Does he remember those moments in flashes, maybe, or is it?
It is coming back to you as you're looking at them. If you'll just let me scan your paperwork, I will escort you to the correct memorial place. Once you're inside the facility, we do not allow talking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I can be respectful. No problem. He absentmindedly kind of holds up the paperwork, still sort of staring at the wall.
Sorry, it looks like you're a survivor and you've been signed up for our therapy program. I can take you there immediately afterwards if you're interested in getting started. You'll be living and working on this space station?
Sure. Yeah.
Are you okay, sir?
Just confused, a little lost.
All right.
A little lost.
Let's do this if you're ready.
Yeah, and Quentin will take a deep breath, collect himself, and gesture, lead on.
He leads you into a room with massive, like, black as obsidian pillars, which have, like, nameplates on them. Each one appears to be someone who died in space. Whether it is a memorial to early Earth deaths, or whether it's second wave colonists who helped colonize the sector, or even those who've died in the last 150 years since people began rising into space again. All of them are represented here. He skillfully navigates the low gravity and takes you over. There's another man who's also, it's all like you get lock boxes with your loved ones, like leftovers, and you push them into the memorial. And so he's pushing one in into a memorial that reads Sam Jones and Kate Meacham. And the name of the ship is the Antelope. And he doesn't say anything, but he sees that, like, yours is directly beneath his, and so he silently, like, moves back and lowers his head respectfully for you to, take him off of Louis and push them in where they're supposed to go.
Yeah, Quentin starts with Gustard and does that first, and obviously in his head he's not,
It says Gustard, Skip, Malusha.
Skip. And yeah, I mean, Quentin, as he slides it in, he's thinking to himself, you didn't deserve this, Chief. And trying to sort of spinning in his head, like, obviously they weren't like the best of friends, but, spinning in his head the positive moments, right? The little things maybe he learned from him, tricks of the trade, things like that.
I feel like he taught you a little bit about being a bombastic captain, interacting with people. Maybe not nicely, but he was confident.
Yeah, putting on the show.
You have Livy's. It's just sitting in your hand, and you're not really sure how long you've been standing here with it.
Right.
But neither of the men on either side of you are moving.
Yeah, and he does stand there for longer, even after that. And he's thinking, his brain's drifting to those images that he saw before he entered this room, and remembering the ghosts that he saw, whatever that was, but they were real. He could feel them and he could interact with them. And he's thinking of, like, his friendship with Livy and moments on the ship. And, things he didn't get to say. And he starts to slide the box in, and, is just thinking, do I get to see you again? And
it locks in place, and the panel lights up to say TIS Doña Paz. And the man on one side of you, like, grabs your shoulder to help steady you, and the monk grabs your other, and they both kind of, like, help push you in a certain direction.
He follows.
Okay. So they take you outside this massive pillared facility towards, like, an airlock into another section. And when you're in the airlock, you get the typical voice that's, like, decontaminating you. The captain that's with you reaches out a hand and says, Captain Jed, the Antelope tramp freighter. I lost my engineer. You?
Everybody but me.
Yeah, this isn't my first time here.
No?
Pretty tough.
How long you been doing this?
50 years? I'm getting old. Doctor says I need to cut it out, but, you know, there's really nothing like space, right?
Yeah. Nothing like it.
You got a ship?
You know, I don't.
Puts an arm around your shoulder and he says, look, people who come to here, to this bar, they're changed. You got decisions to make ahead of you. You know, there are a fraction of people who have the freedom to come out here into space and to lose. We'd like to think that we're always going to win, but I mean, you and me, we're standing here and we lost. And it's okay to lose. You can do everything right and you lose. You can do something wrong and make a mistake and you can lose. You got to ask yourself whether you're going to get back out there with the new ship or not. And that's really what we do going forward here.
Yeah, man. No, the universe is a weird place. That's for sure. It's hard too. I don't think I'm done looking for more to see.
You're all right. You don't look so good.
I've had better. How long's it been? He tries to remember.
It's been, I mean, according to your chronometer, it's been almost a year since the accident.
Wow. Yeah. Years?
Well, what do you like to drink? The door in front of you opens. This room is built like a 1800s seaside English tavern. Wood panel everywhere. There's like a buoy hanging that says SS Gilligan. There's a dude up on the bar wearing like period clothing, singing in a very nice baritone, and a dude nearby with a cello who's just like, sing it up, John! And the dude who's singing says, he starts singing something about bones in the ocean, which immediately gets your attention because you heard that recently. There are a lot of people in here. All of them appear to be in some form of psychological misery, drinking away their troubles. But they're like anytime anybody has an empty cup, they are brought whatever drink and whatever food they ask for here. And Jed, like, makes sure that you know that you can sit anywhere, and he like sees somebody he knows and excuses himself to head over there. And you can hear him starting the conversation. Well, you know, didn't think we'd meet here again. Looks like we lost big time again. And, you know, like they sit down and start talking. And Louis just like looks up at you to see what you're feeling.
Scritches under his chin. Just leans his head in and just kind of touches that forehead, right? And just breathes for a little while.
Your attention comes back to you when someone stands up suddenly and begins stumbling. There's only 2 doors in this place beyond like the service entrance. There's the airlock behind you, which leads back into the facility, and an airlock in front of you. And the airlock in front of you, it says, promise of peace, solace of rest on it. And as the dude gets to the airlock and is about to hit the button, someone comes up to him and is like, hey, Samuel, why don't you come back with me? Why don't you have another drink? And the dude at the airlock just says, no, it's time. It's time. And he hits the airlock door, and you see that this airlock is an exterior airlock that he enters, and he shuts the door behind him. And many of the people in the room raise a drink slowly towards that door. It's some real cult shit in here. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, Quentin's eyes are huge. He's like looking around. Is anybody could do any like that? you know,
doesn't look like anyone's in a rush to go get this guy. I mean, the dude tried to stop him from going in there for sure.
Right. Yeah, Quentin's going to start over there. Like he's not.
You start making your way over, and like it's been a while since you've walked or run, and like you bang into a table, a wooden table, and someone's like, "Hey, you just knocked over my drink." Not part of your mind. You keep going over. You make it up to the door, and you can see the guy is about to hit the interior button, and he turns and sees you on the other side of the airlock, and he opens the comm and he says, "What?"
I'll do it.
When I am awake, all I see are the people I killed.
Was it your mistake or just luck?
Combat pilot. Quarantine patrol.
It can be both. It's you don't have to take all the responsibility.
Is this your first day here?
I think so.
Look, I hope you go out the other door. But everyone who comes here leaves through one or two exits. And I'm not going back out the other way.
There's nothing.
I just want to go to sleep, man.
Mm.
And he lets go of the speaker button. We cut to weeks of you stumbling around drunkenly in here, eating good, drinking good, going to nearby hotels on vouchers, just coming here with Louis every single day. There's like a library nearby. You can read whatever you want. The monks are available to bring you anything you need, and plenty of people in the tavern to talk to. You get the feeling after a while that the tavern staff are all just monks who are dressing up and cosplaying to entertain people as part of the therapy. It's the thing that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, you're at the bar, and make a mental effect save. You pass. Oh, you rolled a natural 20. All right, I'm going to reward that. You feel a pop in your head. That headache you've had ever since the spike drive started like a causality leak ends. And your psionic powers flow back to you way stronger than they've ever been. And you turn and you look at the airlock that says promise of peace, solace, arrest. And you see Gustard and Livy. He's wearing like a sailing captain's. You think you've heard him talk that like he's like this is a thing he does as a hobby on Thord. Like in between jobs, he like has a schooner that he takes out or some. It might be called like hyperboat racing or something. You're not really sure. It's just, he talked a lot. It was hard to keep track of anything. Livy is wearing like a very nice blouse. She's got bangs that she never had any time that you saw her. She looks calm. Her hair is pulled back into a ponytail that, again, is shockingly reminiscent of Iono Kanto. Just, like, nice pants and, like, flat shoes. And, you know, Guster, like, waves at you at the bar, and he's just like, hey, bud, listen, we're gonna head out. You gonna be okay?
And Quentin disappears from where he is at the bar and appears in front of the airlock, like crosses the distance in the
Just
blink
to be
of an
clear,
eye.
everyone around is watching you talk to something that's not really there. But for you, it's real.
Yeah. And he says, Are you okay?
Yeah. Listen, you didn't do anything wrong, man. You didn't do anything wrong. we got a bum deal, okay? And there was nothing any of us could have done about that. That was physics. That was physics. That was set into motion before the scream. Someone didn't clean up, ejected their trash into space, and we got that go around.
And Quentin remembers,
it's coming
Gustard
back to you now. Everything that happened.
Yeah, and he also remembers Gustard making jokes about Isaac Newton, right? Like the classics, because that's who he is. Yeah, and he half chuckles, like a little bit, right? Like cracks a small smile, thinking about that, and yeah, and kind of raises his glass to him. And just thank you for saying that.
Livy puts a hand on your raised hand, and she says, "It's good to meet you."
Wish there was more time.
Custer hits the button and enters the airlock with her. And the two of them they don't press another button when they're in there, they just walk out into open space. But you look down, someone's hand is still on your hand. The same guy that stopped Samuel before he went out is there, and he's like, "Hey, listen, buddy, are you sure about this?" And you see the whole room is raising a mug of glasses towards you, because you're standing about to press the button to go into the airlock.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you come back with me and get another drink, okay?
Quentin blinks and comes to a little bit, and
you're looking a lot better than you have the last couple of days. Come on, come over here. What do you drink?
Feeling better. Hit me with an old fashioned.
Okay. Everyone slowly lowers their glasses as you are pulled away from the door. The bottom of the screen reads July 19th, 3199. We hear the sound of someone cutting a deck, shuffling cards, doing that brrrr thing. Over the speakers, we hear someone say, "The Monday dinner special plates are as follows." And we see two men sitting side by side on Thord as the dealer is just flipping out cards. And it's Van-Vee and Quentin.
When shots call, right? Where are we at in the game?
Deuces Wild, gentlemen.
Last time Deuces were Wild, I got screwed pretty bad.
Oh, come on now. A little risk, little reward.
You're right. All in.
All in.
Call.
And I feel like that is the end of the episode. So if we want to take a moment and decompress and maybe talk about this one here, a lot happened in both of yours.
Yeah. That was awesome. Very cool.
I think intense. My jaw hit the floor and I realized the airlock thing. Or when you introduced the airlock, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Felt very like expansy somehow. Like, Belter.
Beltalota.
Yeah. I liked it.
What was the captain of the Tynan, Ashford, in his execution song where he sings about going down to the airlock?
Yeah.
Jeez, that one was stark. He sung that song to his daughter. That was wild, that scene. I was like, I'm sorry, that was his daughter's lullaby as I'm going down to the execution airlock?
I love that show. It's so good.
I just finished.
But yeah, that
recently.
was really,
Yeah.
It's worth watching. But that was the vibe I was getting a little bit. It was great. I really, it was intense.
Scenes were extremely well done. Like, at no point did it feel like too much to me at all as a player. So extremely well done.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I just hope I handled it with the gravity it deserved.
I wrote these a while ago and I've been slowly updating them. There was hours and hours of prep work that went into this. By the way, Tavern Cut is what they called Chicago pizza in the 50s.
Oh, cool.
So,
I like that.
You seem like you were really stuck up on that one. Let's get it.
No, it's just like, I'm just imagining like you're messed up. Like somebody says something, like you're seeing things, right? Like it sticks in your brain, those things, those moments when you're not in your right head, like the weird things that you've not heard or.
So it should be noted the next time we see you, you will have recollection of all of these events.
Okay.
In the present.
Okay.
I refrained really hard from like trying to make a quick quip in the middle, be like, oh, of course, he got a real person. I got stuck with the stupid robot. But I was like, there's no way I could ruin that mood. It's not like the real person helped you out anyways.
Yeah, he was a huge dick that was just trying to get you to sign a document so you could get back to work.
Basically.
Man, I can't wait to see Kain's now.
Right. Like, well, Kain's the stage is set for Kain's. Like we've got so much. Mm-hmm. I've enjoyed the drip
don't hype
feed.
yourself up too much. I'm afraid Kain's is a lot less progress done than yours.
Sure, but I mean, like regardless of where you're at, you've set up some fun elements to it that I think can pay off in lots of cool ways. So I'm excited for that.
And he's the one who wants the horror, so I can only imagine.
No, I mean, I'm enjoying it. Just so we're clear, that was like
we're not
intense.
Go this dark for a little while. It'll be a bit before we come back.
Or just some grim dark, if you will. I like getting the background from the two. I wasn't sure when this episode or session started. I wasn't sure if you were going to try to like mix the two together, but I like how it was two separate. It felt a lot cleaner and it makes a lot more sense that way.
Yeah. I enjoyed being a spectator in that portion.
Yeah, I was a little worried because see, when I wrote these, I didn't know who would be missing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I decided not to like try mixing it up or anything because it could just be a one-on-one session. So I thought, I would be discluding someone to be a spectator, and probably we can guess that Kain will watch this episode, later.
Yeah.
Or maybe he does some real sage shit and doesn't watch it, and then has to know what happened from the two of you explaining it to him.
We get some RP,
and then you have to explain about the airlock.
I was actually thinking, if he watches it, well, I mean, this would be a way to tell if he watches it or not. If I start treating, I'll only interact like with his armature positively. If I keep getting like the visual face, like the terminal,
that's really funny.
Just kind of
holding a grudge.
Yeah,
against the hologram.
Terminal virtual systems. Yeah.
Faceless machine. I mean, you have a face, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Where is your supervisor? I am my own supervisor. Great. Where are you located? I'm right here. God damn it. But I think that would be funny because most of our interactions I think have been with the armature. So I think it'd be pretty fine to still pull off.
All right. I'm not trying to rush us out the door, but that was a fucking huge amount for me because I don't know. I basically never do horror, and this is why. Because when I unload horror, it's gonna be some really fucking dark shit.
No, man, it was fantastic.
Be in that headspace.
I liked you handled it really well. It never went like
so
too far into. Yeah, exactly. You handled it very well.
Literally was turned into cube sausages and his.
No, that's like.
I was thinking of when the visual I kind of had was like when the predator net goes on an alien and it like cuts through
a bit like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, life's gross. Like at the end of the day, so that's all part of it, right?
So just above the table, I want to make sure that we understand that what happened was your spike drive was hit and started a drill jump, but because it was broken, it couldn't make the jump, and so you and the metadimensional creatures were able to interact because you were part of the way into starting a jump, but they couldn't like do very much with you because they can't exist in our lower dimensional reality.
Right.
They were there to encourage you to save yourself.
Yeah. No, it was that. That's exactly what I was getting from it.
Okay, just making sure that was understood. This is
Yeah,
like
how
the director's notes in the enhanced edition.
So how is it Louis survived? Is he also unknown?
I'm just gonna tell you right now. No one's ever checked. Louis is psionic now. He has MES.
Yes.
As I mentioned, very
Makes me so
very
happy.
early on in the GM prep, is that the food on Lita is all like really good MES medicine. So his natural kibble is just controlling his psionic impulses.
Oh man,
This is why
So
he looks
good.
like he's the wisest capybara, because he's actually telepathically reading people. From
Literally
time to time.
is.
Yeah. He got it from this incident because it
Wow.
poured over into him.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna start calling him
And Quentin has not picked this up yet.
That's because he doesn't use it around Quentin, because he knows Quentin is a meta psionic and would detect him.
God, if
That's
Louis ever wanted to
amazing.
like start pulling pranks, my God, Van-Vee would get so frustrated. He's like, "What? Can't?" It's like when someone like plugs in a USB dongle to your laptop with another mouse, and just keeps moving it. That's like what Louis could do. That's great.
It's fantastic.
Yep, Louis is an empath.
I love it. Now I have to get a certain level of meta psionics where I can just tell.
Tell if someone's a psionic.
Yeah.
Would you trust yourself if you just looked at Louis one day and you were like, "Can animals even be psionic?"
Bro, what?
You don't think it's weird that Louis always knows when you want to pat his head?
Yeah, right? Like, we're just in tune.
Funny.
Oh. All right. If no one has any announcements or anything, I'm going to call this and go do something that's not incredibly dark. Audience, I hope you're getting through this okay. Hopefully we'll be back on our regular schedule next week. I don't have another set of prequel episodes for these guys. It's probably going to take me a while to write another set that will go even further into their past, because we basically caught up to the present with this. We're gonna get real young Vandorn when he was wearing Jinko jeans and had a wallet chain.
Baby V?
Well, whenever that happens, like I will get an experience point for my long-term goal. Working towards it, I'm sure.
All right. Have a good night, friends, or day, time zone, whenever you're watching this, and stay safe.